But apart from the top three apps, which other UPI app do you folks use?
So basically, this just goes on to show that one company built their entire business portfolio on top of insurance as a sector, and the other built it on top of lending.
Why Paytm is slightly higher on the revenue side is when Paytm launched their Soundbox. I think that was revolutionary in the UPI space as soon as demonetization was announced.
Who are some of the worst VCs in India? Here's my list. What the fuck is Nikhil Kamath saying in his new episode?
Look at the third Kamath brother getting offended.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Indian Startup Desktop, the Christmas edition. Let's go.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello,
Merry
guys. Wishing you
Christmas.
all a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. If you're watching us for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and help us cross 1,000 followers before New Year's. Let's get into it.
Awesome. So the classic tech bro in Bangalore.
Hmm.
Tech bro essential. Mokubara bag, Uniqlo oversized black t-shirt, white Nike Air Force Ones, Levi's 555 relaxed straight fit jeans. Damn, I know so many people who dress like this to work.
Hmm.
I think so. There should be two more additions to it. One is the army green baggy pants and the Casio watch now.
Okay,
So common.
now I fully agree. I have the green baggy pant and I have the Casio watch and I have the Mokowara trolley right here. Not the backpack,
We have
but
our classic tech bro right here.
Yeah, you are the classic tech bro.
okay, let's move on.
Indiranagar fundraise lane. So this Twitter character Vinod Java just posted a screenshot of his Google Maps on Indiranagar, and look at the number of VCs over here. One,
Wow.
two, three. There are some 12 VCs that he's earmarked, and a bunch of those are spots. But damn crazy. I think if anybody wants to fundraise, just walk down this lane in Indiranagar and go door to door to every VC.
Probably
One thing,
Umesh Refreshments here will tell you a better way to make money than some of these VCs might.
one thing I feel is this guy is a big dosa fan.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's move on. Biscoff is just Parle G who went to IIM, worked at McKinsey, and now charged the client just to tell you think outside the box.
Oh God.
Yeesh. Good.
It would be crazy to see Parle G launch a Biscoff version, Indianized Biscoff version.
Dude, I don't think they will. 1 kg of Parle G is probably as much as 10 grams of Biscoff.
Let's move on to our feed. This Reddit post blew up a couple of days back talking about the worst VCs in India. Who are some of the worst VCs in India? Here's my list. Vaibhav has never responded to any email I sent him. Prime Ventures, same as above, and also think they're God's gift to entrepreneurship. Churate, again, very low on responsiveness and approachability. Lightbox VC, the absolute worst portfolio amongst all VC funds. Matrix Partners, intellectually lazy, nepotistic, blindly fund repeat entrepreneurs without too much thought, even if their ideas suck. Guys, what are your thoughts on this?
I
I'm
see I see Pete Pawan just shedding a tear on the side a little bit.
I have absolutely no thoughts on this.
Yeah, guys, I don't think we can talk about this. At some point, we might need to reach out to all of our friends at different venture capitals. So, can we
Let's
move
move
on?
on. That's good, Kenneth. Oh, this is another thread that blew up. The wrath of Airtel. This is how canceling Airtel Black account goes. Hi, please cancel Wi-Fi connection and also remove me from Airtel Black. But you lose all the amazing benefits. No, I'm not happy with your services. Please cancel. But you used 25 GB just yesterday. How can you not like our services? You're monitoring my services? Anyway, just cancel it. But this keeps going on and
Oh my
on
God.
and on. But people, but Airtel just didn't cancel it.
This is
Pavan, I know
wild.
you have an interesting story around this. Do you want to chip in?
Yes, I actually recently switched from Geo to Airtel because I was having hell of issues on my Geo network.
Oh.
Uh, One day I got into such a big trouble because I was not able to pay my auto driver, and it was and then I had to come upstairs to my home, connect to my Wi-Fi, pay him, and send him back. So that's the way of issues I was facing with Geo. So I moved to Airtel, and just to be more disappointed with their services. I don't have network now for half a day almost. So I always connected to my Wi-Fi. But this led me to an idea actually. If someone's watching this and someone want to build this, I think so. There should be a website for Indians which takes the location as soon as you enter there and asks you like which is the best network for that area, and over a period of time builds a data repository where if you are switching a connection or want to know best connection for your area, right? Because it's very area specific, you will understand what network is better there. There can be hell lot of ad revenue that can be made here, and probably some lobbying with Airtel and Jio might also happen to
Yeah.
rank themselves
I think
areas.
we every week we are all about just businesses who are acting as aggregators, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this response. So Airtel randomly added somebody else's DTH services under my account. Every time I call them from my number, they call me Vinod Reddy and tell me my number is wrong. The only option now I have is to become Vinod Reddy.
This reminds me of that Binod meme that got viral a few years ago.
Binod.
Okay, let's move on. What the fuck is Nikhil Kamath saying in his new episode?
Hmm.
Huh.
So Nikhil Kamath's recent episode with Kumar Birla drove a lot of insane conversation around how would you start a business. The gist of the discussion is that Kumar Birla felt 1 to 10 crores is a negligible amount to start a scalable business in India. This is of course a bit disheartening, and I'm sure he has his reasons because of the context of his life and business experiences. Sheesh. What do you guys think?
I think so. We come from two Indias, where one India thinks that 1 to 10 crores of money is easy to be financially independent and retiring early, and then there is one another India which feels that to start a business, 1 to 10 crores is not enough.
Yeah, yeah, I fully
Saksham,
agree. I think we've
Saksham, look.
also had this conversation multiple times to say, okay, we would talk about one India, we talk about one Bharat, right? And if we are continuing to work in corporate and do our jobs, etc., we are happy with an amount of maybe $1 million per one, right? We've spoken about that number of 7 to 8 crores. Versus if any of us were to start up, and now that you have started up, Pawan, is the goal suddenly changes. So I think it's also very contextual to what you're doing, because when once you start a company, then you're not looking at making 6 8 crores of revenue, right? You would want to make it bigger and also potentially have a much higher exit.
It's the new rat race of the new era.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Just goes on to
Look at
say
look at this comment. Nikhil Kamath played second fiddle when his older brother was painfully building a business.
Oh
They
God.
didn't even have 60 lakhs they needed to put as security for a broker license. Zerodha was almost 90%. Nitin Kamath and his brother acts like he was an equal partner. Sheesh, man, this is just pure hate, right?
Yeah, this is mean.
I think so. Potential chance 390 was the third co-founder of Zerodha. I think so. He knows more than them.
Okay,
Look at the
let's
third Kamath brother getting offended, huh?
I
okay.
wish.
Let's move on to UPI wars. So this is another post that blew up, but it basically compares both PhonePe and Paytm. Revenue, Paytm is obviously much higher with 9,978 crores compared to PhonePe's 5,064. However, PhonePe still holds the majority market share in UPI with a staggering 48.3%, which is literally half of the fucking country. Actually, market share by value is, closer to 50% as well. But what are your thoughts on this? Pavan, I know you have some, interesting insights on the PhonePe versus Paytm debate.
So basically, just goes on to show that one company built their entire business portfolio on top of insurance as a sector, and the other built it on top of lending. PhonePe being the insurer and
Yeah.
Paytm being the lender version of it. Just goes to say that the margins in lending are so higher than what insurance is, and the penetration of lending is to the deeper corners of the country than the insurance.
Yeah, Saksham, what do you think?
Hmm. I also feel why Paytm is slightly higher on the revenue side is when Paytm launched their Soundbox. I think that was revolutionary in the UPI space as soon as demonetization was announced. And I think that was one market that Paytm was actually able to capture also faster than PhonePe did, at least at that time, which also led to them, in some sense, driving and leading revenues. Because once competition kicked in, obviously prices had to drop, and the rat race to zero sort of began at that point. But yeah,
Saksham, I
largely
think
agree with
I
the
think you're
lender
missing a
versus.
nuance over here because Paytm for the longest time did not get into the UPI business. There was still a wallet first company. Even when demonetization happened, I believe Paytm still had a wallet first approach. But it's pretty great to see them still make a lot of money, even though they were late to the UPI race, and now they are probably the most reliable UPI app that I use.
You always need an outsider to disrupt the market. PhonePe at that point was that outsider, where MobiKwik had a wallet, Paytm had a wallet. They had the largest market share of digital payments.
Apart from the top UPI apps like, let's say, PhonePe, Google Pay, and Paytm, there are a bunch of other challenger UPI apps that are coming out, and this is another interesting post that blew up over the last week. But apart from the top three apps, which other UPI app do you folks use?
I use Cred now.
Really, Pawan? You literally trash
Of
Cred in
course.
every
Pawan
episode, and now
has
you.
to bring in cred at some point in doing
I'll tell you
something.
why I'm using that as well. It's just basis on my a few past experiences that I've made this move recently, like a couple of months behind. I always used to have a long waiting time when I used to make a payment on PhonePe, and then I did some research just to figure out that the volume that PhonePe is handling for UPI payments is so high, and the revenue that they're making is so less out of it that they don't have motivations left to actually make that transaction a better or a higher successful proportionate anymore. You can see like how long does it take for a payment to be completed on credit versus phone pay. On the other hand, credit has like less than 1% market share or close to 1% market share. They're putting their all billions just to make that experience better. Why not, as a consumer, have the best experience there? Super
Look
money
at
is
this.
thing is what I feel.
Isn't this a very interesting insight that the average order value for UPI is 1,400? However, for these challenger apps, it's less than even 1,000. Banks, however, have a higher AOV than these consumer apps, with ICCI with 4,002, SBI 2,901, etc. But Cred is the anomaly over here, where Cred still has a AOV with 3,657, which is literally like as high as these bank apps. So yeah, I think that's pretty insightful.
It also makes sense, right? I mean, we know cred has been built for the top 1%, and you can clearly see that in the average order value as well, as compared to a PhonePe versus a Paytm, which has also been catering to tier 3, tier 4, and the larger, population in the country.
But that also goes on the other way, right? These top 1% are also using credit for because they're a credit card focused. That's the bare minimum required to get on credit.
Hmm.
If they have credit card, why are they using UPI so much?
Also, just
Yeah.
the ease of payment, right? I mean, people still don't have the habit of using credit card for a lot of these transactions. UPI has become almost second nature, right? You don't think twice before making a UPI transaction, but for card, you still have to be like, okay, even if my card is saved, I have to enter a CVV, right?
Yeah, that just goes on to say that convenience wins at the end of the day. There is some credit card which is giving you points, rewards for spending. On the other hand, there is a UPI app which is being preferred by customers.
Hmm. But yeah, let's do a quick poll over here. Which are your top three used UPI apps? Saksham, why don't you go first? Yo, go for it.
Actually, I think so we lost section.
Pawan, do you want to go ahead instead?
Uh, for me, it is credit right now. Then it's Paytm. Then it's PhonePe.
Got it. Mine's Paytm, PhonePe, and Cred in that same order.
Hmm.
So for me, the top three apps I would say are PhonePe, Bheem, and Google Pay, and I use it for three different reasons. PhonePe is my go-to app for everyday transactions. Google Pay is actually for a lot of the SIPs that I have set up, which I use Google Pay for, and Bheem is actually for a lot of IPOs that I apply, or a lot of the mandates that I've set on my Apple Pay. So it's very, very different use cases that I use these three apps for.
Interesting.
Look at this new UPI use case that's come up. Someone just told me to uninstall Truecaller app and instead search for numbers in UPI apps to find out their actual names. What the fuck?
Oh wow, okay, that's very insightful. I had no idea you could do that. Like I never thought of this.
Guys, you have been using this all your life, and you guys are saying this. You guys are fintech boys. You should be
Yeah.
knowing this.
Yeah.
इतनी मेहनत
No, I mean,
करते हैं.
yeah.
I see. This is nice because either ways you've not bought the Truecaller paid version. So you end up struggling for credits after two, three searches if in case you get a lot of spam calls.
But Truecaller is such a pathetic experience on iOS. Like, just because you don't share the data with them, they've made it horrible experience. You see
Yeah.
ads and all now, or buy
Yeah.
like a gold subscription of Truecaller. Who buys a premium subscription
Yeah.
of
I've
Truecaller?
not I've not bought not I've not had the app of Truecaller I think since 2020. since the time I moved to iOS. I just fully gone away with the app.
You're in
No.
sales. You're meant to have Truecaller.
I I don't need it.
Okay, let's move on to the elafda of the week.
Hmm.
Ola and influencers. So this really popular Twitter influencer posted this very sweet message for Ola. 4,000 Ola stores. Stock price is also up. Service centers are to go up at the same rate. But what he didn't realize was that he used the same copy that Ola themselves sent him, using these three hashtags and tags at Bhavesh and
Oh
Ola.
God. Oh God. Oh
And you're in
God.
such a rush to say positive things about disaster just to make a few bucks.
But guys, look at this. Someone is posting a paid tweet without even reading it twice. So how
Yeah.
many paid tweets does he do every day?
This can be seen as stock manipulation, and there are no disclosures about the apparent sponsorship.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. No, this is a crazy. This Gabbar character, he always parades as with a holier than thou attitude. So
Yeah.
see him come under fire is a bit refreshing, I would say.
But I
Also
think,
just shakes your credibility immediately, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you've been so popular over the last maybe a couple of years. You start to question everything.
but he has
Look at
been there,
this.
done that in this situation lot many times now. So
Hmm.
come out strongly.
Folks making fun of Gabbar for posting a paid tweet are just jealous of him making easy money.
That's also
Hmm.
Yes, he has some stupid
Yeah.
takes from time to time, but criticizing him for monetizing his following is uncalled for. If you had a million followers, you would be a lot worse.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
that's true. That's true. I agree.
But dude, look, Ola is a crappy company. We've been seeing the kind of shit that Bhavesh Agarwal has been doing. So yeah, like I'm glad that they're slowly getting exposed with their shit ways of operating like this.
Did you lose a
But
lot of money at some point with Ola Pete? Why so much hatred?
Dude, just see what's happening.
Yeah.
That's itself is crazy. But look at this guy. While a lot of this shit was happening, Bhavish Agarwal took an entirely different spin. He sent a really stern message to his staff. I've been going through our attendance data. It is shocking that a lot of people have very poor attendance. I would imagine everyone has the basic self respect to not fleece the company by not even turning up for work. It's even disrespectful to those colleagues who genuinely work hard and contribute. And we don't have any work from home policy except for genuine needs. Monday onwards, a more stringent attendance expectation will start.
I'm just having a deja vu from last week. True, madam. Yes, madam. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
I think so. This was a strictly internal post.
Sorry?
This wasn't a marketing thing. This was a strictly internal post.
Like all
So
other posts, Pawan.
You never know, man. You never know with these companies these days. Might
Yeah.
everything might just be a let's get somebody to talk about us this week.
Yeah.
Sasta Elon strikes again.
I was actually thinking of this in my mind. Elon Musk has been in
Oh
controversy in
God.
this exact same thing.
Horrible.
But yes, that's it from this week's episode of the Indian Startup Desktop. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel below.
Bye bye.
Bye.
That's it from this week's episode of the Indian Startup Desktop. Don't follow to like, subscribe to our channel below. Fuck it.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. It's okay. Do it again.